I've been in the danger zone.
Hello, you beautiful bastards, and welcome to the 16th ever Danger Zone podcast. I am your host, Daniel Kelly, and I'm joined by Ipswich Dan.
Hello.
And your host of our first item, Ryan Palmer's Raw Shit.
You bloody idiot.
Raw shit, 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 raw shit. Ryan Palmer's raw shit, this is Ryan Palmer's raw shit, this is Ryan Palmer's raw shit, this is Ryan Palmer's raw shit, Ryan Palmer's raw shit.
So this week's Raw seemed to be mainly revolved around Ryback and his shenanigans, which weren't that great. He had an opening segment with Cena, who started off Raw with a promo, and he also had a little backstage conversation with Daniel Bryan and Kane, which led to the main event, which was Ryback beating Kane in a shit match. So yeah, Ryan's raw shit, very apt at this stage. So yeah, what do we think of this?
The match was disappointing, like you said. I say disappointing, but that would imply that I was expecting it to be anything other than shit, and I wasn't. So, but I like the way that Daniel Bryan was involved in Ryback. It's like a sort of a mini feud inside a feud. I think that's playing off quite well, and I like the way at the end. Skipping forward to the end, I like the way that when Ryback bailed and Bryan came out to save Kane, and then Cena came out. It made Bryan look a little bit more ballsy than Ryback. I know he's a heel, but it's good to see that maybe because of his affiliation with Cena in his personal life, that Bryan's getting a little bit of a rub over Ryback maybe at the minute. But back to Ryback. I think all has been said really with our thoughts. I don't think it's really changed much this week. I think he'll lose to Cena at Extreme Rules, and I still don't really know where he'll go afterwards. But I think, yeah, the match was poor.
Yeah. Did anyone else notice that when he got him up for the shell shock, he had to use him already sitting on the top rope?
Yeah.
Which seems weird considering he picked up Mark Henry. So something, maybe they'd practiced that before, or so that didn't really make much sense. But yeah, echoing my kind of thoughts. I think one thing I think what they're doing, like you had with the interchanging feuds and things like that with Bryan and Ryback and them being in it, it's going well. I have no problems with this feud, how they're doing it. I think it's all quite well constructed and everything. It's logical, fairly logical. So I'm happy with that in that aspect. One thing I would like to touch on that on last week's SmackDown, Ryback versus Bryan was the opening match, which was a very good match, brilliant match. But that wasn't deemed worthy to main event SmackDown, but somehow Kane versus Ryback is deemed worthy to main event Raw. And it just baffles me. I can't for the life of me think many people would rather see or be more likely to watch something like a segment if it's Kane and Ryback, because that just does not scream out to me quality or interest. So yeah, I had that on that. But
that's a good point. I think this week is a similar scenario. Ryback again is in the main event of SmackDown against Chris Jericho, which probably will be a spoiler. But and there's arguably more important matches in the undercard, like Bryan versus Ambrose, which is, I would argue, should be a main event. Give it a little bit more time, and then maybe Ryback Jericho on in the middle, and a shorter match will hide Ryback's limitations. Because I think the longer Ryback matches go on, the less people want to see of him. Yeah,
I think it's interesting with his lack of silence. Really, if we're being blunt about it, his silence from the crowd. It's interesting that they seem to be, because he doesn't really appear on SmackDown that much. and he is this week, and he seems like he's all over it. So WWE seems to, their reaction to maybe his lack of reaction from the crowd is to, like, use him more. I think that's a risky scenario because I think the more appearances on any show, and even on more than one show, like, lessens the appeal of seeing him. Not that there is any to me. Like, he comes out, you see him 3 or 4 times on Raw. Each time there's going to be less reaction from the crowd, especially when he first comes out or you first see him. So I think they should stick with him one appearance per episode of, like, a Raw or SmackDown, and maybe even once a week. I think that's not helping that he's appearing like 8 times in a week or something like that. I think it will detract from people, like, being in awe of seeing him come out or something like that. So that's just what I think anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the reason that people aren't, like, in awe of him, what you're saying at the minute, because I know they weren't particularly mad for him before he turned heel, but since he turned heel, he's gone from facing, like, Mark Henry at WrestleMania, the world's strongest man, however they bill him, and he wasn't backing down, and he was completely matching him, and now he's frightened to lay a finger on John Cena. I know that sort of comes with turning towards a heel, but it's not really a way to get the crowd to think, "Oh, you bastard." He's a coward, which is kind of how all WWE heels are, so I suppose.
I think, even though I'm not a fan of Ryback, I think he has done a lot better as a heel.
Oh, definitely.
I'm still not a fan of him, but, I mean, I just that how much I hated him as a babyface. He is better, and to be fair, he didn't get massive reactions at a babyface, but people would chant "Feed me more" at him all the time, which I suppose you have to give him some credit for that, I guess. But now that he's heel, like, no reaction at all, when he is actually doing a much better job. Still not doing great, but he's doing a lot better. So, yeah, it just makes me think, the WWE Universe, it's all your fault.
I think Sylvester Stallone, then.
I think going back to the crowd reaction, it's a big, like, saying how his heel turn's gone. But I mean, if you just, like, a non-watcher would come in and watch Raw or SmackDown and see that the current big heel in the company, which is Ryback, is getting absolutely no reaction at all, you just wouldn't believe his character. You wouldn't believe what's going on with him, and you wouldn't believe his matches, promos, or anything.
Yeah.
So it's a big damning point on him, unfortunately. I mean, as we say, he is doing better as a heel. But say someone who wouldn't watch it every week comes in and watches it, you just won't believe it.
Yeah.
Due to the crowd reaction, he's just getting nothing.
Yeah, definitely. It's got to be worrying for them, like Vince and them. But
a non-watcher would think that John Cena's the lead heel in the company.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. With the saying that, it made me, when I was, like, heard Ryback come to the ring and he got no reaction, I couldn't help thinking of when Triple H and Punk were feuding, and Punk was kind of saying that you only get a chance if you're a big guy, you're really strong, kind of thing. And Triple H was, "Oh, that's not true. We have, like, Rey Mysterio and guys like that. It's all depends on the reaction from the crowd and who gets, he didn't say pushed or anything like that, but who gets, like, the spotlight or things like that," which is blatantly not true. I mean, look at Ryback. I mean, first of all, he got a massive push to start with out of the block, and if, like, someone like Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, got that kind of silence from the crowd, they would be so far down the card, or even released. Their heads would be spinning. It's just such hypocritical, and that angers me that Triple H was so, "Oh yeah, you're wrong about that. That's not true at all." But it is clearly so true. I mean, it's just, terrible. It's just, they can't. I know we shouldn't want them to stop and start pushes, but in this case, I don't know. I mean, it's not fair that Ryback gets these opportunities when other guys who are so much more over than he is are, held back so much. It's just not fair.
I agree. I think that sums everything up pretty nicely.
Yeah. And of course, it was revealed that Ryback and Cena will have a last man standing match at Extreme Rules, which might be all right. No, I can't. At least it's got a stipulation for it. I think the more stipulations, well, not the more stipulation, but a stipulation will help it more than none.
I agree, but I think the last man standing match as a spectacle has been really diluted in recent times because it's like it's now the go-to stipulation match. Sort of, we've had in the last 6 months we've had 2 on free TV.
Yeah,
and last man standing matches used to be quite rare on pay-per-view, but now they're being thrown away on TV. I'm not saying that they're not good matches because obviously you had Del Rio and Big Show when Del Rio won the title on SmackDown. That was a brilliant match, but with last man standing matches, do they really seem that extreme? To use a phrase that they want us to use, do they really seem that extreme anymore?
No, I guess not. I suppose it's a nice novelty, but you could say that about any match in WWE at the moment, especially although this like kind of match hasn't got its own pay-per-view, but I suppose it's all down to the PG factor as well. I'm not someone who's going to say, oh, WWE's ruined since it went PG, because I don't think that is true at all. You can work around these things. But I think that has an effect on it. You can't be like incredibly violent in that kind of environment. So I think that plays a factor, and they are overused, of course. But yeah. Okay then. Well, here's something that I'm interested to think what you'll both think about it. I know on Twitter, Norwich Dan, that is, you suggested that you weren't looking forward to seeing this Paul Heyman self shot footage of Lesnar trashing Triple H's office. Was I correct in that?
My exact term was, it seemed a bit naff.
Yeah. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Yeah, so did I. I have to admit, I was completely wrong. But I'll come in after you. Go on, say it.
Okay, well, yeah, I thought it was one of the most compelling and creative angles WWE have done for a long time, and I absolutely loved it. I thought that it was very good that Paul Heyman was actually filming it himself. That added so much to it, I thought. It's not like, it didn't seem like the unrealistic, look off into the distance kind of WWE backstage film and stuff. So, yeah, I thought this was brilliant. There was just little quibs he put in there, like, oh, you're much, like to the receptionist, oh, you're much prettier than Stephanie, or something like that. And, his his business card, which had a Paul Heyman guy on it. What else was... Oh, he was humming Fandango's tune in the lift. And, I don't know, I think just like the stuff where nothing happened, like just standing in the lift, I thought that was really nice. I mean, I know it's people. I don't know. I thought it added to the realism, and it wasn't all just going in there smashing stuff. They had these nice little bits between Lesnar and Heyman, and nothing happened for a bit, and it just made it seem so much more real. And when it just got in there, and Lesnar, he unnerved me just when he was twatting everything up. So he broke the sledgehammer. That was quite impressive. I don't know if it probably wasn't, well, it had to be a fairly real sledgehammer, I guess. Maybe not a proper sledgehammer, but still he broke it. But I thought it was excellent. Really well done.
I agree. I haven't really got much more to add to what you've just said. You've taken the words out of my mouth. I wasn't looking forward to it that much because I thought it was a little bit of a weak lead to go with for a feud as brutal as Brock Lesnar and Triple H has been and will finish up being. But I was completely wrong, and I'm pleased to have been completely wrong.
Yeah.
But just a little point, I have to admit that I enjoyed Triple H's promo afterwards as well, and that's something that doesn't happen very often for me. I hate Triple H on the mic. I might be in the minority here, but
no, you're not with me.
That's the way it is.
Yeah.
I think, and the only thing that could have made it better was if Brock would have literally raped the secretary.
Okay.
Yeah, just my points. I completely enjoyed the segment as well. I wasn't exactly looking forward to it because when you hear something like this, you think, oh, they've filmed it in like a hotel and it's just going to him at a door, breaking into an office which has been made to look like Triple H's. But the fact it actually happened at the actual Titan Towers really, really got me going with that. It really made me believe that what was going on was actually going on. And obviously the fact that Paul Heyman was actually filming it and with his commentary as well, which is just pure genius. I mean, in the lift when the guy got out at the third floor and Paul Heyman just shouts, "Was it something we said?" And with Brock looking over the top of him while Paul Heyman was singing Fandango's theme, I just thought it just came off really well. It was cool actually to see the actual Titan Towers, what they used to be called, the WHQ. Because I mean, normally cameras, or we get no view of them, but it was actually quite cool to get a little walk around, just a little off point. Brock in the office, that was really believable, especially when he just slammed his foot down on these to put his foot up on his desk and it went right through his laptop. You just thought, oh, here we go. That was the bit where you thought, oh, here we go, Brock's going to go mental. When he threw the sledgehammer into the sign and the top WW of the sign fell off as well. I just thought the whole segment came off really well. Paul Heyman was genius on the commentary, especially as it started from outside the office as well. It just came off really well. I was really not expecting it to be that good. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I agree. A special little shout out as well when they first got in the doors, and the girl behind the desk said, "Have you got an appointment?" And Brock Lesnar just said, "Yes." Little things like that. And it's just.
I think going into feud, it did also help that they did actually do it at the headquarters, and also they made it off that they actually did it on the Monday where Triple H wouldn't be there. But I think it came off really well, and Triple H's promo after just countered it as well. I thought the whole thing was really good.
Yeah, I didn't like Triple H's promo as much as you guys. I thought it was better than his recent ones, definitely. I would have liked it if it just ended without him coming out, really, to be honest. I thought it was the same old kind of Triple H stuff. I mean, it was okay, but yeah, I was all ready to be like really happy that it ended with Paul Heyman just on the via satellite. But yeah, if it was up to me, I wouldn't have had Triple H come out. Maybe save that for another time. But yeah, a couple of things I want to add. It's a good job this was so good, considering the amount of time they promoted this during like the 2 hours before they actually aired it. Because I mean, that was ridiculous. They kept on going on about it. So it's good it actually lived up to the hype. And secondly,
they recapped it twice afterwards as well.
Yeah,
the whole show based around a 5-minute camera phone video.
From experience in like film environment, obviously, but I've done uni. I had a film degree, so I noticed there definitely was a cut in that, and it would have been just as they entered Triple H's office when Paul Heyman like walked in at Brock Lesnar and like the camera hit against him. Guarantee you that is where a cut took place.
Yeah, I guess that the exterior shot maybe was the real entrance to Triple H's office, and then when they went inside, it was a fabricated office.
Yeah, well, it may
did look a bit small, so
it may not have been. It may not, but more the point they probably would have liked to have had a cut going into that kind of to then doing that kind of when they're trashing the whole place. I mean, they could have done something just before where they messed it up, and then they had to do it all again, kind of thing. That wouldn't have been good. So it's probably more to give them a break, and then they can just be happy going into it, then they can do it again. So that would have been my guess anyway.
That was also interesting when Brock stopped against the Royal Rumble poster as well.
Yeah, they're going to bring that up.
Yeah, it's been reported obviously that it was kind of to subtly sort of hint towards a match in the future, which we all know has been in the pipeline, but that they actually did it, and Brock kind of smiled and smirked as he walked off. I thought they did that quite well.
Yeah, that was good. Subtle enough.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Brock's done more for the World Heavyweight titles in seconds than anyone has done in 5 years.
Yeah. Ziggler must have been shitting himself. Dear me. That would be crazy. I'd love to see Ziggler sell for Lesnar. Christ. Oh, dear me, that would be something. Anyway, so let's move on to the Shield. Certainly had an interesting time recently. It seems to be a shake-up of the formula from just the normal 3-man matches. Obviously, they had a 3-man match here where they beat Kofi Kingston and the Usos. But it looks like my guess would Extreme Rules. We're going to see 2 of the Shield members take on Kane and Bryan and beat him for the titles. And then I think the other member is going to have a match against Kofi Kingston for the US title, Extreme Rules. And I think all 3 of them will come out with gold, which is very interesting. I think I looked on the SmackDown spoilers that Kofi Kingston is involved in some degree with the Shield, not massively, but so that is what I would guess they would do, and I'd be all for that. I wanted to hear your opinions of, if that is the case, who would you have in the tag match? Who would you have just for the US title match?
I think because it might just be me, but Ambrose and Rollins seem to be the team to me, and I think Roman Reigns would suit the US title because it's hard to explain, because I see sort of Rollins and Ambrose as a unit and Reigns as kind of like the enforcer at the side still at the minute. I know they're a 3-man team, but that's just the way I see it. But obviously they've teased sort of Ambrose maybe winning the title off Kingston after, did he pin Kingston? He did, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah. He used his new finisher, the
I think the natural fit would be for the 2 smaller guys to win the tag titles and the big man to win the US title.
Yeah, I would disagree on... I think Ambrose and Rollins would definitely be the best tag team out of the 3, but I don't think they'll do that, and I wouldn't want them to, because I think then that just... Reigns isn't as talented as the other 2 in the ring, and I think that would expose him a little bit, being in a singles environment.
That's a good point.
So I would definitely have, even though Ambrose, if it was just the tag titles, the Shield just getting the tag titles, I'd definitely put on Ambrose and Rollins. But if you're going to have like one of them in singles, definitely go with, well, I suppose Rollins would have I'd like to see Rollins' matches on his own more, really, because I think he'd have the best matches. Like Rollins, Bryan, I've seen they had a 3-match series on television in Ring of Honor, which was amazing. They've had other pay-per-view matches in Ring of Honor, which were brilliant. They would he was definitely would get the best matches, I think, out of anyone. But I think have Ambrose go for the US title, and then you've got Rollins kind of to, I don't want to say carry Reigns, but at least assist him, and I think it would put Reigns in the best light being in the tag situation, and then you have Ambrose, who will be fine on his own. He's obviously very talented in the ring as well, and I think that would just be a better dynamic for the 3 of where to go with that.
It also makes sense for the tag match as well, because then you'll have 2 more technical small guys versus 2 big guys as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely think that. It's kind of like Evolution when they had it was Flair and Batista. They were the tag team in Evolution. I think they had the tag titles possibly.
Yeah, they did.
So I think that would definitely be the way to go. Because I think with the Shield, you'd want their matches to all seem like really special and stuff like that. I think it'd be a bit harmful to have like Reigns versus Kingston not to like live up to anything, not to be too good. You really don't want that. You don't want any kind of situation where that you get a Shield match and you think kind of loses their it becomes a bit lackluster. I think you want them to be like feel fresh and an exciting matches still. And I think Rollins and Reigns would be the best 2 to go with to all round have it as exciting as possible. Yeah, so that's what I do. Do we think that's likely, that like my idea that the 3 will come away with gold at Extreme Rules?
I do. I think it'll happen as well. That's what they're building to, quite blatantly, I think. But,
I think
go on.
As a whole situation, as a whole, that helps the Shield as a group and their credibility going forward. That all 3 could end up with gold and not just 2 of them. Because then if 2 of them have the gold, it seems the 3rd member seems kind of out of the way and it's just like helping them and enforcing them, like just to retain or win the gold. But the fact they've put the possibility of the third member also getting gold and the whole group, I think it helps them going forward. That it's just not two of them getting gold and a third member helping them all the time. So yeah,
an argument could be made that the US title should be skipped and one of them should be going for the main title, which would help boost the Shield. And I know they don't really need boosting as a main event entity, but it would reaffirm that they're top of the card players.
Yeah, I'm not against it though, because I think.
Oh no, I'm not
slowly.
Against it.
I think it's probably for the best to slowly do it. I mean, I don't think we'll see them all take all the titles. That would be quite interesting. But I think maybe just a progression, really. I think that would be because really they'd be going for the lowest titles at the moment now. I mean, more circumstance, anything, especially with the tag titles, I guess. But yeah, then you make them mean something, and I think that'd be pretty good.
I do predict that Ambrose will win one of the big two titles within the next year, definitely. Though I think Ambrose will be the first one to make a name for himself in the main event.
Yeah.
I think,
but will it be while he's still with the Shield though?
I'd like to think yes, because we haven't really seen that probably since Evolution, a member of a group win one of the main titles, unless anyone else can remember a different group, but I can't really.
Yeah. I'll see. I think I'm excited for this. I think they've left it at the right time to start going up. Yeah, it's well done. They've done very well by the Shield, so you can't really complain at all with how they've been booked and presented and stuff. So definitely the right time to break away. They've done all they can in the 6-man matches and things like that, really. I hope that they'll still do them in sporadically kind of thing and keep that unbeaten 3-on-3 record. That'd be good. They're going to take losses in singles. They already have with Ambrose and tags, I guess. But it still gives them that aura that they're unbeaten, all 3 of them together. So, brilliant. High marks all round for that. It's been very good. Let's move on to the World Heavyweight Championship scene. Now, this is something I really don't like. They had Ziggler versus Del Rio again in a singles match. And although it was a good match, it lessens the World Heavyweight title so much by it's presented like you wouldn't have Ryback and Cena facing off in a one-on-one match on television before a pay-per-view. I think it's stupid. It really makes it look mediocre, like a mediocre title, and it just baffles me. And this isn't their first singles match. Like they had one a couple of weeks ago, I think, on SmackDown or something. I know they got a triple threat match, but I really don't like this. I mean, do you agree, or do you think I'm overreacting a bit?
I do agree. I really, really don't care about this feud for the World Heavyweight title.
Yeah.
For many reasons, but I'm bored of Swagger. He's coming with this new character, but he's not really. I know. Oh, I'm Jack Swagger. I've got a ladder. That's basically what it was this week, and it's more and more of Coulter being the sort of bigoted guy, and Swagger's, still Jack Swagger. I don't think he's really any different. And Del Rio is Del Rio. He was good during the Big Show feud, but he's still as bland as anything. And Ziggler's, ever since he's won the world title, he's probably lost more since he's had the title since he did in the build-up to it.
Yeah.
It's all too predictable, sadly.
Probably the biggest thing that will come out of this is a push for Big E, to be honest. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, Swagger, I don't know, they shouldn't have even bothered with him. He is never going to be anyone. He's just not got it. He's another guy who's been, just handed success on a platter, but doesn't have the tools to make a success of it. And he ends up fucking himself as well with getting high. And Del Rio is just awful, and I don't know. Even having Ziggler surrounded by these two is kind of waning my interest. Not so much on him, but just what he's doing at the moment. Even him being World Heavyweight Championship, being the World Heavyweight Champion. I'm not that bothered anymore.
No, exactly.
But yeah, well, the only good thing, well, not good thing, the only worthwhile thing from this was when Swagger destroyed everyone with a match and just murdered Ziggler with it. That was pretty sick, I thought. He just swung it. I don't know if he meant or Ziggler thought he was going to hit him with it like that. He must have been okay because he sold like he usually sells, but that looked pretty bad. But yeah, it's just not enjoying this at all. Yeah, just want them to end it, and I don't know. I'm sick of all the Big E, all the Big E interaction and stuff like that. They do seem to be putting more focus on him than Ziggler, which was always the worry. So yeah, not good. But yeah, it's just coming off just so much like a mid card title at the moment. The World Heavyweight Championship. It's not looking good.
Do you think the match will be good though? I think it.
Oh yeah, I think
that'll
that'll
be
one of the highlights. I'm hoping. So I mean, yeah, like I said, like Del Rio, this is where he's best in these type of matches. So, and Ziggler will be brilliant self, I guess, and then I suppose Swagger shouldn't fuck up too badly. But yeah, so that should be very good.
Swagger will just be Jack Swagger with a ladder again.
I just hope the other three do not get involved because that's probably what's going to happen now. I think of it, isn't it? And that'll probably ruin it.
Ricardo loves a big bump, don't he? Off ladders normally. They try and play on him taking a big bump. Did he take a spill through a few tables a couple of ladder matches ago with Del Rio involved?
Yeah, he did take some, didn't he? Yeah.
Loves it.
Yeah, so that's, I don't know, with all their interaction, that is a worry that them three are going to be too heavily involved in it, which...
I'd like to see Zeb take one from the top of the ladder to the outside.
There we go. Okay, and let's move on to something that made me very happy, and that was Antonio Cesaro getting a win against Zack Ryder, which was basically a squash match. Thank God for that. At least he's got a win on Raw again. And he looked great, I thought. I just love this guy. He's so good. Just all the little things. He's float overs from a suplex and in the cover, and I don't know why they haven't pushed this guy at the moon. And then Cesaro got on the mic afterwards and says he puts the W in WWE. I expect he meant wrestling, but it could have been world as well, I guess, because he is from Europe, but I expect it is wrestling part. And that he can do the things that no one else can in WWE, which is very true.
Yeah, I think it's good to see that maybe he's out of the doghouse a little bit, because it was looking very bleak for Cesaro.
Yeah. And
at least he stopped yodeling as well.
Yeah, thank God for that. Apparently, I read, don't know how true this is, but this was a reward, quotation marks there, for having a great match with Kingston on last week's main event, and also his reward was getting a match against Orton on main event, which you won't be surprised to hear he lost. So they love some nice rewards handed out.
Matches, Orton and Cesaro.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna watch it. But yeah, it's just hopefully they will do things with him because I don't know, he's just so good. But
I still don't think they really know what. I still don't get the impression that they're fully behind him.
No, I want to see him babyface.
Completely.
See him babyfacing. That would be good because he's just so likable. Even as a heel, I still like him. I suppose I would, but he just has the aura of a likable guy about him, and he's very effective as a heel. But I think he will be best as a heel once he has been babyface first. I've talked about this before, but I think it's hard to not do well with him. He any other guy who had that stupid anti-American gimmick, they would have been dead in the water, and he made a kind of success out of it. So I mean, yeah, just give him something half decent, and he's going to be fine, and he will excel. So yeah, hopefully this is a turning point for him, and he can go on to better things again.
I think going back to the promo, I think the fact he actually did a promo kind of signifies that they are going to start doing something with him, and he is possibly going into a feud with someone who we don't know yet. But because I mean, mid-card guys, sadly, he's in the mid-card at the moment, but especially after squash, they don't really get any promo time. And the fact he did it and he pulled it off really well, even if it was a short promo, but he pulled it off really well, that kind of signifies to me that they are starting to, they're going to begin something off in the pipeline with him.
Hopefully,
just seems who with. That's the problem, I think.
I when he was like naming all the WWE TV programs, and he mentioned NXT because I don't think they really
it first, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And I was like, oh hello, maybe we'll get some Chris Hero coming in.
Neville. Oh yeah, it's a hell of a shout. As if I forgot about Chris Hero. But I was just going to mention the Adrian Neville match from, was it last week's NXT? Maybe the week before.
Yeah, a couple.
That is a very good, one of the best 7-8 minute matches you'll see.
Yeah, I loved that as well. That was, oh god, I was just marking out before they even touched each other.
I actually.
That sounded pretty wrong.
That's not this. Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Yeah, to be honest, I'd probably do that as well if they touching each other in that way as well. I'd probably be like, oh my god, yes.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
All right. We all would. Anyway.
Ipswich Dan would. They told me.
Thanks.
What have we done? I apologise.
There's no going back now.
Yeah. So moving on. Well, let's talk about 2 or 3 feuds that are going on here. We've got Jericho Fandango. Still seems to be going. I was pretty surprised that I forgot Jericho was he even announced for this show? This Raw?
Not until about a day before, I think. I think that's when I read it on the dirt sheet.
Yeah, when he came out, I half thought that it was going to be Fandango in his jacket for some reason. I was like, I can't remember Jericho being announced for this or something. So, and they'd shown Fandango directly before it as well. So I was like, huh? So yeah, obviously that didn't happen. And they furthered that. They're having a week I was going to say a match, but it's not a match, is it? It's a fucking dance off. Next week on Raw, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, weird. We'll see what happens. It probably won't be a very good segment, but we'll see. Orton beats Sandow in a Teletubbies special, as I'm going to call it, i.e. again.
That is a very, very loose link.
They always said again.
But they did. We're not arguing about Teletubby phrases, mate.
Alright. I think we should.
Let's talk about
I thought that was good.
Orton's theme.
That was quite good.
That's a classic moment.
Yeah.
That was genius.
I was on the brink of pissing myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously the feud here is with Big Show and Orton. Then we have Mark Henry and Sheamus. This is so bad. I don't know. It's just Mark Henry just makes me laugh because he's so terrible and he's just how he speaks.
Every time I think about Mark Henry, I just laugh.
It's just, I don't know. And then Sheamus, it was just terrible. And there's just, it's certainly not in the so bad it's good terror category, but it is just so bad. Bloody, it's awful. And I can't believe this is on paper.
Sheamus had a hell of a black eye again. It's as if he has something wrong with his face every week.
Yeah. He does seem to be like that, but I don't know. So definitely Mark Henry Sheamus is on the pay-per-view. I would think Orton Big Show is. I suppose it depends on Jericho's availability, but that might be he might be on the Extreme Rules pay-per-view against Fandango. Have to see though, because I mean, if they're gonna have the Orton Big Show match, and they're gonna have the tag team title match, and they're gonna have the other Shield match, there will already be seven matches on the card. 7 matches. Add in Jericho Fandango, that'll be 8. They're probably going to have Caitlyn versus AJ. I can't think they're going to have 9. 8 at the most, maybe. So
one of them could go on the pre-show.
Yeah, good point. But I can't see them doing anything like a pre-show match going to Sheamus, Henry, Orton, Big Show, or Jericho.
I would imagine the pre-show match would be the Divas match, but
yeah, possibly. So we'll see. They're usually not clambering for matches to put on a pay-per-view these days. It's never usually that much going on, but we'll see. I'm not really enjoying any of these free feuds, to be honest. Even the Jericho Fandango one. I'm a massive fan of Jericho, and this will probably hurt Himpy quite a lot, but he's not doing that much for me at the moment. I don't know, he's like being weird in his promos, which I'm not exactly enjoying. I don't know, what was that weird stuff he was saying in this one? I can't even remember. There was.
He loves playing on Fandango's name, doesn't
he?
Yeah, but there was just like other stuff as well.
That's the problem.
Yeah, but well, we'll see. Not excited about this really. I mean, especially after their WrestleMania match, I'm not really that bothered about seeing another one. But yeah, see what happens. But there's enough.
Do you think they'll put Fandango over again, or do you think Jericho will get his win back?
Probably.
I can't see him crushing the Fandango momentum, to be honest. No. If you could call it momentum, yeah. I think a loss would completely kill him off.
Yeah, I can't see Fandango losing. I don't think he will. Maybe before WrestleMania, like all this kind of took off. I mean, even though it's not really took off that much, WWE seems to be the only ones who are really playing up that it's a massive thing still. I mean, it's not really, is it?
Did they call it a dance sensation?
Yeah. I don't know. As soon as WWE get behind something, like the Yesen and things, then it all goes kind of... Well, not that the Yesen has gone tits up, but it loses a lot more of its appeal. Just because they over-egg it so much. And, I don't know, over-promote it and things, and then they usually do shitty things to it. But overall, I don't want to end this on a sour note. I thought this was a much better Raw than what we've been treated to the last while, I guess. Not pretty good up until for the first couple of hours. It did get a bit worse during the third hour. But, I think in a 3-hour Raw, that's not bad at all, really.
There's enough enjoyable segments to have enjoyed the show as a whole, I think.
Yeah.
I think the 3 or 4 enjoyable segments were very enjoyable, and the rest of it was complete garbage. But yeah. The segments saved the show for me. It was the best Raw since the night after Mania, though, I would say, still.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get through than the other ones with it being 3 hours.
I still have to watch it in 2 sittings, though.
Yeah, same, yeah. Just me, though, just because I couldn't wait to see Game of Thrones, because I've just come back from some business. And
that sounds dodgy.
Some Danger Zone podcast business in the Midlands. So, yeah, and I haven't... so I only watched this today, and I was desperate to see Game of Thrones as well, so I watched that as a break.
I expect to see some camera phone footage of you smashing up Villa Park or something.
Yeah. Okay. There was a couple of fires while I was there, to be honest. Not anywhere near me, just in shops. So does seem to be an arsonist about in the Midlands, or something or other. But anyway, what the fuck are we talking about? This is a wrestling podcast.
I don't know. You've just done your Raw shit, now play that jingle.
Yeah.
Ryan Palmer's Raw shit, this is Ryan Palmer's Raw shit, this is Ryan Palmer's Raw shit, this is Ryan Palmer's Raw shit, Ryan Palmer's Raw shit.
So then, the return of our hashtag debate. This past week on our Twitter account, we asked you who you'd like to see Brock Lesnar feud with once his program with Triple H ends at Extreme Rules. And I'm going to bring you a few of the best ones. We did have quite a lot of answers this week, so I've picked the best ones and the most mentioned wrestlers. The first one I'm going to read is at DCW_wrestling. He says, Undertaker, why not capitalise on the real life heat they had a while back? And he's got a good point there. And Miss Steph, who is at Jeffany1, that's a hell of a Twitter handle, she'd like to see Brock feud with Kane and Undertaker. So it seems Taker is quite a popular answer. What do you reckon?
Yeah, Taker. One of the best, one of the ones I'd like to see. I wanted to see him and Lesnar go at it this year's WrestleMania. I thought that would have been for the best. But yeah, I think this is a very tough one, I think, because I don't know. Like, I'd obviously like to see more of the like former indie guys given a chance against Lesnar, like Bryan and I suppose Cesaro as well, and I don't know, just people who would have a great match with him more than anything. But WWE are never going to do something like that. And I suppose, why would they? I guess they're only going to put him against the top stars. If, however, they would turn around and put him with someone like Ryback, then I would be pretty annoyed. But yeah, it's quite. I don't know. Even though Lesnar's lost quite a bit, he is such a beast and so legitimate. Even someone like Orton or Sheamus, who, WWE.
I have a mention for Orton.
Yeah.
Mention for Orton.
Even though they are guys that WWE, well, not Orton so much, but they are top stars, like WWE's top stars, really. That is just not going to work, I don't think. It just doesn't seem. It's like hard to take in that, how the hell is Orton and Sheamus going to beat him, or, I don't know. So, I don't know. I don't know, I'd think a little more outside the box with it. I'd kind of like to see some interaction with Lesnar and the Shield, maybe. I don't think this is anything I expect them to do, and maybe they'd be right not to. But I think the next logical step they could take with the Shield is in 6-man matches is to just put oppose them. Is just to put everyone, the biggest stars they've got against them, and just that'd be interesting. Just for the hell of it, I'd put Lesnar, Undertaker, and John Cena against the Shield. And, I mean, how crazy would that be?
Ambrose taps Lesnar out in 5 minutes.
Yeah, but just something like that, especially at WrestleMania, or maybe not Cena, take him out of it and put, I don't know, someone like Triple H instead, whereas a lot more of the part-timers, but these are guys that they don't job to anyone, really. They only job to each other.
Yeah.
I just think that'd be really interesting. I know Lesnar and Triple H have this massive feud and everything, so it's not very logical. But I think if they could do something like that, and especially at a WrestleMania, if they did that, streak on the line or something, or maybe not a WrestleMania, because I'd like the Shield to go over, but something like that would be pretty special. I mean, I don't think
massively as well.
Yeah, people would be so out for that match, because literally you could not decide which way it would go. It'd be so 50-50. Well, probably not, actually. I mean, but I don't know. The more legend team, they would probably be more likely to go over. But then, this is Triple H and Undertaker, who, should be saying, well, we've got to put the younger guys over here, especially we want to make them something. But I think they should do that. And I mean, even if the Shield did lose, they've lost to some kind of all-star team who don't job to anyone and are paid millions and millions kind of thing. It's as good as way as any to go out down the line or something, I guess.
This is absolute fantasy booking, but
yeah.
it would be amazing if maybe you could fit it in Survivor Series 3-on-3 and have elimination theme. Maybe.
Yeah. I think a bigger match, like SummerSlam or something, but. Maybe
I was just thinking it would be to boost the buy rate of a lesser pay-per-view, but we're getting way, way ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah.
Just a couple more tweets from Daniel McNulty, and his Twitter handle is @RupertTheBear24. He'd like to see CM Punk. He says, without a doubt, it will be fresh, but I don't think Punk will work because of the massive size difference.
Yeah, it's usually I'm a big believer that if you're good enough and you're a small guy, you can have a good match with anyone, like Bryan or something. I mean, he's had matches with, I don't know, 300-pound plus, or is it plus? I don't know, Takeshi Morishima.
Big Show and Mark Henry.
Exactly, and he can easily beat them and make it look believable. Like I said, I'd definitely like to see Bryan and Lesnar. But I think he could make it work. I think he's one of the few guys that could. I think he could make it work more than someone like Orton or Sheamus, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. Realistic terms, I don't know. It's Undertaker's the only one I'd seriously be okay. You can seriously see them him going against. Maybe Cena again. Oh, a bit of a shout, but there's rumours that if he ever did come back, have the first time meeting between Brock Lesnar and Stone Cold.
It'd be something.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Stone Cold would be paralysed after one match with his history of neck problems and knee problems. He certainly wouldn't be walking out.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could follow that on. They could follow that on from WrestleMania 20. Was it when Stone Cold stunned him and Goldberg, and we never saw Brock Lesnar again until last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to Brock Lesnar, I think it all goes down to the way he's been booked the past year or so as a complete dominant force and a complete absolute beast. I mean, it's done well with the feud with Triple H, but the problem is where does it go now? I mean, there's not many guys who could stand up to Brock Lesnar like Triple H has, where you'd believe that they could probably take on Brock Lesnar. Obviously, as we've spoken about, Undertaker could. But the problem is it really ends there, and that's a kind of counter problem that they've had with booking Brock Lesnar in this way, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why part of me thinks that eventually they'll just throw Ryback in with him. Do you know what I mean? So he's a regular guy, and he's a man they want to get over as a beast. Yeah. Throw him in with Brock and see how he gets on. Yeah. But final mention of a tweet, and this one might interest you, Ryan. I don't know how they would even think about doing it, but we had a mention by Ryan James, who's at RA_YY2J. So, who cares? It's a Twitter handle. Your name's Ryan James, and this is your tweet. He says Cesaro. He says the best worker they've got needs to be pushed to the moon. A program with Lesnar may give him that. And I do agree, because we sing the praises of Cesaro's power game on here, and we say that he's, one of the more powerful ones on the roster, and that would fit in very well with Lesnar's style. But I haven't got a clue how they'd go about a face-heel dynamic or in terms of storyline terms, but I think that'd be a brilliant proposition.
Yeah, I'd like to see the match, but there's no logical way they can do it at the moment with the way they've been treating Cesaro. They can only put Lesnar with people who have been pushed strong for quite a while, really. I don't know, it's tough. Like, the only people after Triple H, after his feud with Triple H, that I can see them ever putting Lesnar with is The Rock and Undertaker, maybe Cena again. Anyone lower on the totem pole on that, and I don't know. I'm not sure how much it'll work. I'd like, like the right guy. I'd like to see it more. Someone who's actually talented. But yeah, it's difficult. He's just, I don't know. He's just on another level. Just with, I don't know. Just with his legitimacy.
Well said.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a catch-22, because if you put him with someone like Ryback and you bring, say, Lesnar down to Ryback's level so he can move on to other programs with regular guys, you're then ripping away at one of the major stars you've got, because he'll just be, he will just be another guy. But in many ways, you do need that to kind of happen. Yeah. Well, ideally, you obviously want guys to be built up to be a major guy with him. Yeah. But I think the more realistic prospect that could happen is that he's brought down to regular people's levels, whether they intend to do that or not. I think that could be the only way that I see feuds for him outside of the major guys. But if you've got a guy with limited dates, you're only going to use him for the big feuds, isn't it? So
I think if Lesnar was to feud with Ryback, I think that would damage Lesnar so much, because I mean, all his offense is all believability, brute force, strength, and everything like that. You put him with Ryback, who's pretty hokey, with his offense and things like that. It's not going to make Lesnar look good if he's having to sell to, fucking shell shocked, and things like that. It just, I don't know. I don't think that would work at all. I don't see it. Like in his matches, he roughs everyone up, and I don't know. There's not much that puts him down, but I don't know.
What would your reaction be if I told you had a couple of mentions for Biggie Langston?
I daren't say anything in response to that. No.
No, right. Yeah, that'll do for the hashtag this week. We'll put a new topic out similar time next week. And we had some good numbers this week, so keep it up. I think it's that time that Ipswich Dan does a little bit of news.
Ipswich Dan.
Does some news.
Ipswich Dan.
Does some news.
Ipswich Dan.
Does some news. It's time to hear from
Ipswich Dan. Oh dear, that jingle's never going to get old during my tenure on this show. Anyway, now for some news, and we start with some news which has apparently been confirmed, or it's just broken in the past hour here in the UK, and that is that Paul Bearer seemingly has been confirmed to be in next year's Hall of Fame. Now, a UK well-known tabloid, won't say any names, seems to have confirmed.
They like tits.
Page 3.
Figure the sky.
Ryan and Dan ruin the news. This will be called. Sorry,
Shall I start again, or?
No, loving it.
This isn't being cut. This is in the show. Keep going.
Oh, and then well, Paul Bearer has seemingly been confirmed by a UK tabloid. I won't say any names, but we'll carry on there. Now, there's been constant speculation since the sad passing in March that Paul Bearer will indeed be inducted. The next question follows on from that is who will induct him? Now, the obvious guy would be The Undertaker, but would he break character? Would he not? What do you guys think? Would he? Would you like to see The Undertaker break character for?
Definitely. I don't think you could do it with him in character. Could you imagine that? I would quite like to see it, actually. That'd be quite funny. No, he'd definitely break character for that. I think not a problem, and I think he'll do it, to be honest.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
Yeah, other names included for the possible induction have been Michael Hayes or even Vince McMahon. So we'll have to see in the coming months when WWE do officially confirm it, which I assume will probably be near at the time. But anyway, on to TNA now, and this is for the UK fans listening. They have announced that their next year's Maximum Impact Tour, their show from Glasgow, will in fact air live in the UK on Challenge TV. This is actually history in the making. A wrestling show hasn't been broadcast live from Scotland, so that is on Thursday, January 30th. TNA have actually announced they're bringing all their cameras to all 4 shows in the UK, and will be filming Impact live over here for probably the whole month. All the impacts will be from here, but I guess that's a pretty big statement. I wonder if WWE will follow on from this and have a show live, but the Impact, which airs live in the UK here, will air on tape delay in the States. Talking of Impact, they've announced that Impact will be moving in the US back to its previous time slot of 9 until 11 on Spike. Any talk on that really, or?
Well, if Hogan gets the world title soon, I will pretend that TNA don't exist. So I may have blocked them out of all my senses by then. But seriously though, I think it's a good idea. It's a very positive step, especially in the UK. So yeah, I think interesting.
TNA seem to really think a lot of their UK fan base, I think.
Well, they should do really. I mean, they give them a lot of, we get them a lot of revenue and stuff like that, especially when they come over and things like that. It's the
most watched wrestling program in the UK. So
yeah, I don't think if they haven't been doing their live shows in the UK and getting the crowds they get, they wouldn't be on the road in America right now.
No, I agree with that. I think the UK is a major market.
Yeah, they need to do a pay-per-view. I think that'd
just if they. I know it's probably a little bit obvious, and we're obviously going to say this because we're from the UK, but a Bound for Glory in London or anywhere in the UK would be major news in the UK for wrestling fans. It would, if you're a wrestling fan and Bound for Glory was in the UK, you're probably going to want to be there. And they probably can't do it because maybe there's a deal with WWE or something, but Bound for Glory would sell most of the O2 out, I would imagine.
Yeah. Back to that, like the TNA pay-per-view thing, I'm not sure if they're going to do one now, because they had the perfect opportunity to do one. What with, them switching to 4 pay-per-views a year now, they had to fill in all these, little pay-per-views for the obligations to, like, UK market and probably others as well, where they had to have them televised.
The one night only show.
Yeah, they could have taped one in the UK and had it live, and then that could have gone out, whenever in America, and that would have been really big, an actual pay-per-view. I mean, so that was like, they didn't think to do one then. I mean, are they actually ever going to do one? I don't know, but that would have easily been worth it for them. Easily.
Really?
So,
Definitely.
yeah, I think
Missed opportunity.
Yeah. Idiots.
Yeah, that live Impact taping from Glasgow is on Thursday, January the 30th, and tickets are available now, so just a little plug there for TNA, really. But right, next, on to The Undertaker, and we seem to be talking about Taker a lot recently. He's believed to be going to have surgery on his hip and shoulder, but has told WWE that he will be available for WrestleMania next year. Now, there's also talk of him appearing at SummerSlam in a possible Brothers of Destruction tag match against The Shield. So, this could be interesting.
I don't see that SummerSlam match happening. That doesn't make any sense to have just Undertaker and Kane versus The Shield. Because there was the Undertaker Shield, Undertaker, Kane and Bryan against The Shield, and they lost. So, I don't see the logic in having just... Oh, yeah. You already lost with just 3 of you. So you know what? We're going to have just 2 of you go up against them. That should see you have better chances. Doesn't make any sense. So, I don't know. Whoever posted that is probably...
You find most of these news sites are full of made-up rubbish.
Yeah.
A lot of them is just the author of the website is just thinking, that's the logical step because they're sort of feuding at the minute. We'll say they're having a match at SummerSlam.
Yeah, definitely.
That's not to pick on any news sites because we all read them, but you can't really take anything they say for gospel. And they always get out of it by saying, oh, of course, plans likely will change.
Yeah.
Just, the easiest job in the world.
I reckon we will see Taker again before Mania.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right, and finally some news on some returns. First, Sin Cara has tweeted that he looks to be back next week. And also probably the forgotten man, Evan Bourne. Now, there was apparently talk backstage that he will be back soon. Bourne's been off since last year where he got a suspension, and then during that suspension broke his foot in quite a nasty way and has been back. But he is kind of forgotten man in WWE at the moment.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Have anyone seen any of the pictures that have come out of Evan Bourne?
Or he's ripped.
His rehab is absolutely ripped.
Yeah.
It doesn't look natural.
I wonder if that would put him in a different stance when he comes back into WWE, kind of not the cruiserweight high flyer sort of thing. Maybe be a bit of a change when he comes back.
I wouldn't have
too
thought
small
so.
to be anything else, to be honest.
He was always pretty shredded, wasn't he? I mean,
yeah, he was. Yeah.
But he looks more bit bulkier, less. I don't know. He's just a bit bulkier, I guess.
Yeah, and finally, just to follow up to a story I brought you last week involving WWE diva Rosa Mendes. Now, she has also tweeted that she has been preparing for her return to TV after the events of the past month. She said that she's been getting up early after a great night's sleep. Now, there's speculation she was at the arena at SmackDown on Tuesday, but eyewitnesses outside the arena have given me the report that they saw her in a skip, paralytic, and still a drunken slag. Ipswich Dan.
Done the news.
Ipswich Dan.
Done the news.
Ipswich Dan.
Done the news. It's time to say bye-bye to
Ipswich Dan.
Oh dear. Thank you for listening to the latest Danger Zone podcast. If I may say so myself, what a show it's been. We've had Ryan Palmer's raw shit. We've had Ipswich Dan does some news. And we've had your hashtag thoughts. Remember to follow our live tweeting of the week's wrestling shows on Twitter at DZ Podcast. And if you enjoy what we do, please let all your wrestling friends know how we can be found. Once again, thank you for listening. And remember, never let Jerry Lawler loose in a playground.
I've been in the danger zone.
I was actually going to suggest Jerry Lawler for the Lesnar feud so he could beat the paedophilia out of him.
Fucking hell.